الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على رسول الله الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد آني أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين واللعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Dear children, welcome back to class of book 4. And firstly, I'd like to begin by congratulating you all on the wilada, on the birth of Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba alayhi salam, the second holy Imam, the son of Imam Ali alayhi salatu was salam. And he is, of course, the first child of Imam Ali, and also the brother of Imam Hussein alayhi salatu was salam. So he was the Imam before Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So if we begin our class, we go to page 23. We are discussing the Usul of Deen. We are looking at Adala today, the justice of Allah, the fairness of Allah. If you remember we looked at the last session, last week on Sunday, we looked at the Asma Allah, the names of Allah. Allah is Hakim, Allah is Qadir, Allah is, for example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Halim, Allah is Qadir, Allah is Mukhtar, all these names which are manifestations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now we look at the Adala of Allah. Now we look at the fairness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Adala is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Allahu Adilun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fair. Allah does never treat anyone unfairly. Allah treats everyone in a fair and just manner. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala treats everyone the way they should be treated. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts everyone where they should be placed. So He doesn't ever do anything which is unfair. For example, you and I, we may do something which is unfair. Someone, maybe a friend at school may do something. You may say this is very unfair, this is not just, this is wrong. But we can never say this regarding Allah. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by His nature, it is in His Zat, it is in His essence, Allah by nature is just. Allah does not behave unjustly. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to behave justly as well. Allah wants us to be fair with other people. Allah wants us to be fair with our families, with our friends, with our colleagues, with our mother, our mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, everyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be just. Okay, now if we all read now, Allah is always just or fair in everything that He does. So everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does is fair. There is no exceptions to this rule. Sometimes things that happen to us may seem unfair. The truth is that we don't know everything. So sometimes something may not seem fair. For example, we may say, oh, why is Allah treating me like this? Or why don't I have this? And my friend has that. I would like to have that too. Sometimes we may say Allah is not treating us fairly. That is not true. We don't know what Allah knows. We said last session, Allah is Hakim, Allah is wise. Sometimes He knows where He needs to give. For example, you have two families. One family is rich, the other family is not rich. You may say, well, why are we not rich? And why is my friend's family rich? Why is Allah giving them more wealth, more money, bigger house, more cars? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them more? The truth is we don't know. Allah knows best who He wants to give more and who He wants to give less. Sometimes people have more money and they lose Iman. Sometimes people become rich and they forget about Allah. They don't go to the Imam Bargah, they don't go to the center because they're so busy in a life of, in a life surrounded with money and opportunity and you name it. Now, the question is, what is justice? If we look at the third line, the third paragraph, justice means, so it's at the top of your page. Justice means putting everything in its correct place. Now, I'll give an example. What does it mean to be just? What is justice? Justice is to put everything in its correct place. I'll give an example. For example, you have a car. You park the car outside on the side of the road. You place the car outside. You don't put your car inside your living room. You don't bring your car out in your bedroom. The car belongs outside. Placing the car outside is just, and placing the car inside your living room is unjust. For example, and for example, an elephant. The elephant belongs in the jungle. The elephant belongs in the zoo, or in the jungle, in the wild. You don't bring the elephant in your back garden, because that would be unjust. So this is what it is. So now the example that they've given here is, when you come home from school, what do? There's a special place for your backpack. You go to school with a bag. When you come home, what do? You come home straight away, you put your bag in your room. Straight away, you take your shoes off and you put your shoes on the shoe rack. You take your clothes off, you put your clothes in your wardrobe. You take your lunchbox and you put that in the kitchen on the counter. You give it to your mom. And this is why, this is justice. If you take the shoes and you place the shoes on the kitchen counter and you place the lunchbox on the shoe rack, this would be considered unjust. So what is justice? Justice is to place everything in the right place. Justice is to place everything in the place where it belongs. The car belongs outside. The shoes belong on the shoe rack. The backpack belongs in the bedroom. The lunchbox belongs on the kitchen counter. Okay? In the same way, you don't put your bag in the bathtub. You don't put your lunchbox in the bath sink, because that would be wrong. Everything must go into correct spot, into its correct order, so that things can run smoothly. Allah, in the last paragraph, Allah is Al-Alim. He is the most knowledgeable. He is Al-Hakim. He is the most wise. So if something seems like it's not fair to us in this world, we must trust in Allah's knowledge and wisdom, and that He puts everything in the correct. Okay, so we already did this. Let's go to the worksheet. Okay, before the worksheet, let's go to, now let me test and see how many of you were listening at home and how many of you were not paying attention. If the poll is ready, maybe we can have the first question. So inshallah, we will have some questions to see how many of you were actively listening to the adala of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, on the lesson of the adala of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if I could request the admin to now place the first question for everyone to have a go at, inshallah. I'm not sure if it is ready. If it's not ready, I can move on and we can come back to it. Okay, it's great. Ahsantum. So, as you can all see, thank you to brother Amir for doing this for us. As you can all see, I put a question and I put 3 answers for you. So now I want you all to have a go at this. Adala means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is merciful. Adala means that Allah is just, or Adala means that Allah is loving. Which one of these is the correct answer? You have 2 minutes to have a go, and then inshallah we'll have a look at this together. And after this, if you could also have the other question on Adala on the poll as well, if that is ready. Okay, 1 last minute. Have a think and try to answer it to the best of your ability, whatever you think is the right answer. But you should all know the right answer because we've just did it. Okay, your time is up. Let's see how everyone has done. Okay, mashallah. 93% of the people were obviously listening. 93% of our students of this class. So that's 28 students. And 7% of you were not listening, because adala is not merciful. Adala means just and fair. Please remember this. Adala is justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Adala is the fairness of Allah subhanahu, not merciful. Merciful, we did this. He is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Allah is merciful. Okay. If you can have the next poll ready, when that is ready, inshallah. Okay. So now this is a very important question. I want to see how many of you get this right. Adala is a part of our usul ad-din, or adala is a part of our furu ad-din? Have a go at this. You know, our usul ad-din are the roots of our religion, and we said that they are 5. And then we said the furu ad-din are the branches of our religion. Remember that tree that we discussed? It has roots and it has branches. We said that usul ad-din are 5 and furu ad-din are 10. So let's see, inshallah, where adala belongs. You have a minute or so. Have a think about it, inshallah. Okay, time is up. Let's see. Okay, mashallah. 94, a little better. 94% of our people, they are on the right track. 6% are, inshallah, they still need to revise. Please do try to revise over the things that we have studied in the previous classes. Otherwise, you'll forget them as we go on. It's very important to know the previous lessons, previous classes, for us to go on. Okay, great. Now let's look at this worksheet, worksheet 2.7, very quickly, and then we move on. I don't want to, the class is not going to be too long because it's Ramadan. I know we're all fasting, and concentration, you know, the concentration, it doesn't last too long either. So let's try to have a good class and short at the same time. Very quickly, number 1, adala means that Allah is just, fair, unfair, both A and B. So we did this. We know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just and fair. So it's both A and B. Number 2, justice means what? Justice means that Allah does what we think is fair, or B, putting everything in its correct place, or C, putting everything where you want, or D, Allah does not do anything that is fair. We discussed this as well in our just a few paragraphs above. We discussed this already. There's only one correct answer, and that answer is B, putting everything in its correct place. Yes, well done for you, of those of you who got this right. Number 3, Allah is the most knowledgeable. Which of these 4 options means He is the most knowledgeable? Is it A, Al-Khaliq? Is it B, Al-Latif? Is it C, Al-Alim? It is D, or is it D, Al-Hakim? Okay, so for those of you who got C, mashallah, you got it right. For those of you who didn't get C, you need to go back and revise. Okay, number 4, Allah is also the most wise. Which one is it? Is it A, Al-Khaliq? Is it B, Al-Latif? Is it C, Al-Alim? Is it D, Al-Hakim? Okay, well done to all of you who've got D. I can see a lot of Ds, mashallah. That's good. Majority of you have got this right. Well done, mashallah. Okay, let's go on to the next page quickly. Nabuwa. So we finished Tawheed. We have now finished Adala. And now we're moving on to Nabuwa. So slowly, we are heading to the middle of the book, inshallah. Nabuwa, as you know, is prophethood. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent 124,000 prophets to us. The first prophet being Prophet Adam, and the last prophet being our holy prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. He was the last prophet. After Prophet Muhammad, we do not have any more prophets. There was no prophets after Prophet Muhammad. After Prophet, we have the 12 Imams, beginning from Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, and so on and so forth, until the 12th Imam, Imam al-Mahdi alayhi salatu wasalam. So at the end of this, inshallah, if we can have the poll ready, respected brother. So Now, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say in the Holy Quran? We sent prophets before you in Surah Mu'minun, verse 78. We sent prophets before you, O Prophet Muhammad. There are some whose stories we have told you and some whose stories we have not. So in other words, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that we have sent prophets before Prophet Muhammad. We have sent prophets before Prophet Muhammad. Before Prophet Muhammad, there were many prophets. 124,000 prophets altogether, including the Holy Prophet Muhammad. Some of their names are mentioned in the Holy Quran. There are 25 names mentioned in the Holy Quran of the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not all of them are mentioned. Some of their stories are mentioned. The story of Musa is mentioned. The story of Ibrahim is mentioned. The story of Isa is mentioned. The story of Luqman is mentioned. The story of Yusuf is mentioned. So, all of them are prophets of Allah. How was the prophet chosen? If you go down to the paragraph, Allah chooses the prophet who is the most perfect. Allah does not choose the prophet who is not perfect. We find that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen prophet who never commits a sin. What does it mean that the prophet never commits a sin? It means he is masoom. It is our belief. We believe that the prophet never commits a sin. All of the prophets are masoom. And the reason being for this, why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to choose someone who does not make mistake, because if he makes mistake, then people will not respect him. They will say, well, if he's a prophet and he's not masoom and he's making mistakes, he's committing sins, then how can he guide us? Then how can he tell us not to make mistakes? How can he tell us not to commit sins when he himself commits sins, when he himself is not perfect? So the one who runs society must be perfect. The prophet must be perfect. For example, if you imagine your school, I'm sure many of you are either in primary school or in year 6 or year 7 in secondary school. The principal, the teacher has to be a role model. If the teacher commits sins, if the teacher is misbehaving, if the teacher is behaving badly, then the teacher cannot expect the students to behave justly. Okay. If you can have the poll, please. If I can request the admin to have the poll so we can see. So like we discussed, the prophet is perfect. If he wasn't perfect, he would commit sins. And if the prophet commits sins, then no one follows. Okay, you can see the question in front of your screens regarding Nabuwah. How many prophets did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala send us? Is it 99? Is it 124 prophets? Or is it 124,000 prophets? Okay, please have a look. And you have a minute to answer this question. Okay, time is up. Let's see how you guys did. Okay, mashallah. Everyone except one. Everyone except one got this right. So remember, it's not 124. It is 124,000 prophets. Well done. Mashallah, everyone was listening. I think that was it. That was it. I'm not sure if there was any more. If that was it, let's go over to, if that is all the questions, then let's go over to the second part of the book, which is fiqh, which is page 16 in your part 2, the fiqh section, as we have been doing. We're going to look at wuzu today. Page 61 on the PDF. Okay, wudu we discussed, if you remember last session. wuzu has two types of actions. You have the wajib actions and you have the mustahab actions. The wajib actions are those that they must be done. If they are not done, then wuzu is batil. Batil means invalid. Mustahab actions, if you don't do them, if you do them, you get sawab. If you don't do them, your wuzu is still correct. What is the first wajib action? The first wajib action is niyat. So please, if everyone pays attention, because you all need to know how to do wudu, it is very important. Niyat. The first thing you do is you make niyat. When you come and you stand for wudu, you say, Ya Allah, I do wudu to get closer to Allah, to get closer to you. Qurbatan ilallah. Wajib, qurbatan ilallah. It's not wajib, but you say qurbatan ilallah. But the niyat is wajib in the wudu. Then after niyat, second is washing hands. It is mustahab to wash hands. If you don't wash them, it's not an issue, but it's good to wash your hands. So if you go down in the book, you see there's a picture of a person washing hands. First, there's a niyat, a person doing niyat. And then if you go further down, there's a picture. Okay, so first you have to do the niyat. I'm doing wuzu to get close to Allah, qurbatan ilallah. Then washing your hands. It is mustahab. If you don't wash them, it's not a problem. But if your hands are dirty, then you must wash them. Remember, if any part of your hand is dirty, first you must wash. Then number 3 is gargling. To gargle. To put water in your mouth and to wash your mouth. And then you read the dua, Oh Allah, please help me speak the truth. This is mustahab. If you do it, it's sawab. The Holy Prophet used to do it. If you don't do it, it does not invalidate the wuzu. Number 4. Taking water into the nostrils 3 times. You put water into your nostrils. You wash your nose 3 times. This is a mustahab action. If you do it, it is sawab. If you don't do it, it is not a sin. It is not a problem. The dua you recite is, Oh Allah, please help me smell the fragrance of paradise. Oh Allah, please help me smell Jannah. And only those people who go to Jannah will smell Jannah. Number 5. This is a wajib action. This is washing of the face. Now, so don't worry about reading the book. I'll try to, if you can all see me, I'll try to make it a bit easy. If you can all look at me like this, once you have washed your hands, and the first part is niyat, and then you take water in your hands, and then you start by washing your, if you can all see me, you can start by washing your face like this. You begin by where your hair is. So from your hairline to your chin. Remember, you cannot miss out any part. From your hair, where your hair is, from the top of your forehead, where your hairline is, until the end of your chin. So your whole face, you must wash like this. So I'm not sure if you can see. You can all see. Like this, you wash your whole face like this, from your hairline to the top of your chin, from the right to the left. So just by your ears, from the right to the left, everything must be covered. Your eyes, you must wash your eyes, your nose, on top of your lips, on the right and left side of your cheeks, eyebrows, everywhere must be wet. This is with your wudu. You take water once. Is when you're washing your face, and the dua you recite is, Oh Allah, let my face shine on the day of judgment. For the people who are righteous people, for people who do good deeds, who love Allah, who are connected with Allah, the Holy Prophet and Ahlul Bayt, and they stay away from haram and they only do halal, Allah will make their faces shine bright like a light on the day of judgment. Okay? Now, if you go down, then you have number 6 is washing the arms. This is the wajib action. Now, the washing of the arm is done from the, you can see the picture as well. The washing of the arm is done from the elbows to the fingertips. You do not do the wuzu from the fingertips to the elbow. You have to do it from the elbow to the fingertips, so going down. This is a wajib action. If you do it going backwards from the fingertips, if you do it backwards from the fingertips to the elbow, this will cancel your wudu. This will make the wudu batil. So does everyone understand that? You do it from your elbow down to your fingertips. You don't do it from your fingertips up to your elbows. And then if you look at this now, the picture that you can see on the screen, boys and girls. For boys, when you put water on your arm, you put it on the you pour the water above on the back of the elbow, as you can see where it says boys. And if you look at for girls, for all the girls that are listening, what you do is you put the water inside. You put the water in the front part, so on the inner part, if you can see that in the picture. So remember this, but this is mustahab. It is not an issue. If you don't do that, it's okay. But what is wajib is that you must wash down. And the arrow, the blue arrow, if you can all see the blue arrow in all of the pictures, it clearly shows you that you must wash down. You cannot wash up, back up. Okay. The last two things, and then we end here, inshallah. Mash. Now, we must, the wiping or the masa is of the head and the feet. We do not wash our head, we do not wash our feet. What you do is you take your right hand, if you can see in the picture, this is done by wiping the wet fingers. So when you have your wet fingers of the right hand from the middle of the head up to the edge of the hair without touching the forehead. Remember, I'm sorry about this. I think there may be an internet connection problem on my side, perhaps, but it should be better now. So, masa. The last two things is the masa of the head and the masa of the feet. We wipe our heads. We do not wash our heads and we don't wash our faces. So what we do is we wipe. As you can see in the picture, 3 fingers on top of your head. You wipe your head. Okay. And you make sure that you don't mix when you wipe your head, you don't come all the way down to your forehead. You're not allowed to touch your wet forehead. Finally, the last part is masa of the feet. As you can see, this is done by wiping the wet fingers of the right hand over the upper part of the right foot, from the tip of the toes to the ankle. So you can see from the tip of the toes, from your toes up until your ankle, that is where you do the masa. You can see the blue arrow. It shows you to go upwards, backwards, up towards the ankles. Then the same is done for the left foot. So always the right foot first. Right foot first. You wash the right hand first. You wipe the right foot first. Then the left. This is done once on each foot. You can't repeat this again and again. Oh Allah, the dua. Oh Allah, please help me pass the bridge of Sirat easily. Let these legs enter only good places and not bad. So you make dua to Allah. Oh Allah, keep my feet firm on the day of judgment, on the Sirat, when all of the feet will be slipping. Oh Allah, I am obedient to you. I am praying namaz. I am doing wudu. I am obedient to you. So Allah, please keep me on the path of Ahlul Bayt. Keep me on the path of Imam Hassan Mushtaba, Imam Hassan, our second Imam, whose birthday we are celebrating. When we do this, you see, wudu is not just about washing. Wudu has secrets behind it. When we make these du'as, when we recite these du'as, we realize we're washing our feet. Oh Allah, keep my feet firm on the Sirat. Oh Allah, keep my face shining on the day of judgment. It is to encourage you to stay not just physically clean, but also spiritually clean. So inshallah, we end the class today. I hope that this was of benefit for you all, and inshallah that you were able to learn and grasp some new concepts perhaps for many of you. But remember to revise. Please go back and look over these things throughout the week. If you're doing only book 4, it means you're not doing anything for the whole week until Sunday. So the whole week, try to revise, try to go over these things again and again, so you can memorize them and you can record them for yourselves. Try to go over the lecture. The lectures are recorded. I'm sure they're uploaded online. Go over them again if you must, to try to memorize them. If you must write them, try to write them. Read the book. But remember, you must know how to do wuzu. You must know your usul ad-din. You must know your furu ad-din. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين صلوات اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Thank you so much. خدا حافظ.